Hi everybody, this is the Sportsocology Show. I'm Bill Knutson, your host. It's Saturday, June 21st, 2004. I just wanted to let you know I may not be doing a show next weekend, the weekend of Saturday, June 28th. Tomorrow morning I'll be leaving for New Orleans. I'll be in New Orleans all week. I'll be coming back late Saturday. And then when I get home next Saturday, kind of late, I have two friends from New York, my best friend Warren and his girlfriend, coming down to meet me next Saturday evening, and they're going to be here all week. So it's possible I may not do a show the weekend of June 28th. We'll see how it goes. If I can, I certainly will. But if not, then I'll see you back here in 2 weeks. Anyway, on to business. With the NBA, got some stuff for the NBA. The Warriors are hot and heavy going after Kevin Love, but I hear that there's a little snag because they don't want to give up their star point guard, Klay Thompson, and their future first-round pick. I don't know if it'll be the first-round pick in next week's draft or one in a future year. I don't know. I know Klay Thompson's good. You know, him and Steph Curry might make the best backcourt in the NBA. But Kevin Love is a proven commodity. For the last 6 years, you can definitely count on 20 points, 10 rebounds, assists. You know, I know he's a little bit weak on defense, but he is a proven all-star commodity and can be the cornerstone for your franchise. He's 25 years old. You know he's going to be giving you 20 and 10 at least for the next 10 years, and he may be the missing piece for a championship team like the Warriors, a championship caliber team. So me personally, I would definitely trade Klay Thompson because we don't know if Klay Thompson, well, I won't say we don't know. I mean, he's good. But I will say that the future first-round pick, we have no idea. That future first-round pick could be a Hall of Famer in the future, could be a bust. We've had plenty of busts in the NBA, plenty of first-round picks that can't miss, and they certainly missed. But it's a snag from what I hear right now with the Warriors. I know the Celtics and the Nuggets are hot and heavy too for Kevin Love. The LA Lakers, I mean, if you brought him out there with the Lakers, you know, could he be the difference? I don't know. Because Kobe Bryant, 35, a lot of injuries. I don't see enough with the Lakers, even with Kevin Love. With the Celtics, I don't know. They have Rondo. I don't know if they have enough besides him with Kevin Love. Nuggets, they got a pretty decent squad, but I don't think they have enough either. I think the Warriors are the key because the Warriors showed this past season that they're right on the cusp of challenging in the West. I know the Spurs are the Spurs, and they're still the Kings and the champs, of course. But, you know, I don't know. I think the Warriors should get over it, trade Klay Thompson and the future first-round pick, and get Kevin Love in there, and they may be able to challenge the Spurs next year. You know, and the Thunder and the Rockets and all that. I think that's key. The Warriors need to get Kevin Love, so make the trade. Now that the NBA season is over, I did pick the Spurs in 7 over the Heat. I thought it would be very competitive like it was last year, but I thought the Spurs would get revenge and win that Game 7 at home, and wow, I did not see what happened. The only game that was competitive was the game that the Heat won. The Heat won 98-96 in Game 2. Game 1, 3, 4, and 5, including 3 and 4 in Miami, all blowouts. I think it was by at least 15 points or by at least 17 points, which had never been done in the history of the NBA Finals. I thought the Spurs were a bit better. I said last year when the Finals ended that the Heat would not three-peat. And I thought originally that the Thunder would get it done. But then once it ended up Spurs and Heat, I thought it would be a hard-fought contest and the Spurs would get revenge and win the title. The Spurs got revenge and won the title, but it wasn't very hard-fought. The Spurs showed they were the superior team. They kicked the rear end of the Heat. So the Heat are going to have to, if the big three stay together, they're going to have to get some different pieces because the Spurs got much more production from their bench than the Heat did. So if the Heat want to stay together with the big three, Pat Riley is going to have to go out and make some moves. Maybe Carmelo Anthony from the Knicks. Obviously, that would be a big scoring punch besides LeBron James, because Dwayne Wade is definitely on the decline. We don't know what we can expect from him. We don't know if Bosh is going to be around, but if the three of them stay, they definitely need more scoring punch and maybe some defensive presence in the middle. But I congratulate the Spurs. I'm not a Spurs fan. I wanted the Heat to win, but the Spurs kicked butt, took names, and I congratulate them. But we'll see if the big three stays together with the Heat. And they need to improve their bench and get some more scoring punch. You know, Carmelo Anthony's been mentioned. We'll see. Obviously, it's very important whether the big three stay together. We'll have to see. Cleveland hired a guy from Europe, which I don't think is going to be exciting. I think if Cleveland could have gotten Mark Jackson, maybe it could have made LeBron interested in Cleveland. I don't know. But the guy they hired, I don't think will be interesting at all to LeBron. I don't see LeBron going to Cleveland at all. I think he'll stay with the Heat, but if he leaves, Cleveland is not going to be the destination. So all you Cleveland fans, if you were hoping to get LeBron back, I don't see it, but I think he'll stay in Miami. Anyway, still sticking with the NBA, disappointed in what happened to Joel Embiid. I think Cleveland was going to take him number one, but he's out 4 to 6 months with that microfracture surgery. And microfracture surgery in the foot is an ugly injury. And it seems that it happens to a lot of big men. It ended the career of Yao Ming, Bill Walton. It basically ended Greg Oden's career. I know he's still hanging on with the Heat, but he has really been nothing. I mean, he played the equivalent of one full season in Portland because of microfracture injuries to his legs. You know, it's either the feet or the knees. I think with Oden it was the knees. But with Bill Walton, Yao Ming, I believe the microfractures were of the feet. Sam Bowie, you know, back in the '84 draft, he got drafted just before Michael Jordan did, and he was supposedly going to be a stud, but he had the microfracture injuries and never ended up much because of those injuries. So Joel Embiid is probably going to drop out of the top 10, I would guess. And the doctors say in 4 to 6 months he should be able to get back to his NBA career. So if he can recover from this and not have it be a lingering thing, somebody might get a steal, you know, somewhere around 10 to 15 in the draft. I don't know. I wish him well. I would have picked him number one. Without this latest injury, I would have taken him number one. But I think Cleveland's actually going to go with Jabari Parker now from Duke. But I wish Joel Embiid well, and hopefully he'll get back in 4 to 6 months and not have this be a lingering issue. And maybe somebody in the middle of the draft gets the steal of a lifetime. We'll see. On to baseball. Clayton Kershaw pitched a no-hitter the other night, which really should have been a perfect game, but his shortstop made a throwing error in the 7th inning. Do you think after making that error in the 7th inning of a perfect game, I'm sure part of you at least is thinking, I hope somebody gets a hit so I'm not a GOAT for all time blowing the perfect game. At least a small part of him might have been hoping for somebody to get a hit. But, you know, it happens. It's baseball. But the statisticians are saying, statistically, Kershaw's no-hitter the other night was the greatest game ever pitched in Major League Baseball. There has never been a game pitched where the pitcher had 15 strikeouts, no hits, and no walks. So statistically, Kershaw's game the other night was the greatest game ever pitched. Now, I'm not going to go that far, even though statistically it is, because it was a regular season game in June. You know, Don Larson pitched a perfect game in the World Series. You know, that's kind of hard to beat. Of course, Don Larson wasn't nearly the pitcher that Clayton Kershaw is, but he had maybe the greatest day a pitcher's ever had, pitching a perfect game in the World Series. I know a few years ago, Roy Halladay pitched a no-hitter in the playoffs. You know, that's a big game, obviously. So statistically, Kershaw's game is the greatest game ever pitched. I get it. But a regular season game in June, with all of the great postseason pitching performances that we've seen, you know, playoffs and or World Series. Even Kershaw himself said, okay, statistically it might be the best ever pitched, but it's a regular season game in June, and he actually mentioned Don Larson's perfect game in the World Series in '56. And I actually have an autographed picture of Don Larson making the final pitch of that perfect game, autographed by Don Larson, and you can see the scoreboard in the background with the count and everything, so you know it's the final pitch. You see him delivering the final pitch of that perfect game in 1956. It's one of my prized possessions. I also have an autographed bat from Don Larson. I have 3 autographed bats, and all 3 are pitchers. I don't know why, it just kind of worked out that way. I have Tom Seaver, Raleigh Fingers, and Don Larson. You know, the 3 autographed bats that I have. 3 of my prized possessions, along with the Larson autograph photo of him delivering that final pitch. But great game by Clayton Kershaw. Statistically, okay, the best. But, you know, even he said it. It was a regular season game in June, so I won't think of it as the best. But, you know, it was awesome, and he's an awesome pitcher. He looks really good in blue. I just wish it was Mets blue, but, you know. Anyway, I can dream, can't I? You know, sticking with baseball, what is up with David Ortiz? I mean, he hits a 2-hop ball the other night at Fenway Park in a game against Minnesota. 2-hop ball that Joe Mauer can't handle at first base. And, you know, it goes into right field, and the official scorer gives Mauer an error. Okay, you know, it's a tough call. Could have gone either way. I saw it. I wouldn't have argued either way. It could have been an error because, you know, Mauer could have fielded it. You know, he's not Keith Hernandez at first base, but could have been fielded. So, okay, I can see an error. But if the scorer had said hit, I wouldn't have had a problem with it. You know, usually, even though I don't think it's right, usually they lean towards helping the home team player, you know, as much as possible, which I don't think is right. The official scorer to me is kind of like the umpire. You're supposed to be neutral. Just call what you see. That's it. You're not supposed to help a team out or anything. But Ortiz sees that on the scoreboard and starts yelling and pointing up to wherever the official scorer is sitting during the game. And I realize how great David Ortiz is, especially in the clutch, but sometimes he's a jerk. I mean, I'm not a Red Sox fan, but sometimes he says and does really stupid things. It's like you're worried about whether it's a hit or an error in the 7th inning of a tight game in June. Really? The idea is for you to get on base. You know, it may get switched later on, especially since there's been a lot of publicity about it. I don't know, but I can see, all right, you're a little annoyed, whatever. Get over yourself, Ortiz. I mean, really? Because that seems to me that you're about you and not about the team. So, you know, lighten up, get over yourself, and just let the scorers do their job, the umpires do their job, and stop having a little conniption every time something goes your way. The last thing in baseball I want to talk about, selfishly, Jacob deGrom got his first win for the Mets today down in Miami, 7-inning shutout ball. His first couple of outings, he looked really good, and he got tough losses because the Mets have trouble scoring, but the last 4 games he's been getting beaten up, and his ERA has shot up. But he's got some talent. He's young, and he can hit real well, which I like. But I was glad that he finally came through, got his first win today, because hopefully he's one of the big pitchers for the Mets' future. People are saying that the future's kind of bright for the Mets because Harvey hopefully will come back healthy, and hopefully DeGrom is going to be good. Wheeler looked really good the other day, but he's been inconsistent. And we have this guy Syndergaard down in Vegas, so hopefully the future's bright. But we've had what seemed to be what people said were a lot of good pitching prospects in the past, and a lot of them didn't work out. Obviously Tom Seaver did, obviously Dwight Gooden did, but for every one of Tom Seaver and Dwight Gooden, there were probably 10 or 20 others that were supposed to be really good that never made it. So congratulations to DeGrom and to the Mets. Hopefully this will be the beginning of good things to come. Well, anyway, that's all I've got. Like I said at the beginning of the show, I may have a show next weekend. I'm guessing I probably won't, but if not, it'll be holiday weekend, maybe the Saturday the 5th or something, but you may hear from me next weekend. But just in case you don't, well, whether you do or not, have a great week this week. I'll be out of town in New Orleans. Enjoy yourself, and if you don't hear from me before that, have a great 4th of July, get together with family and friends, have a great week or possibly 2 weeks. Enjoy yourself, get out there, enjoy the weather, and enjoy all the sports and food and everything else. Well, that's all I've got. Follow me. It shows you how to do that. Sportsocology Show on YouTube. I'm on Twitter and Facebook. If you can, do that. Subscribe to the Sportsocology Show on YouTube. And thanks a lot for listening. I appreciate it. Take care of yourselves. And I'll see you next time, America, wherever you are.